Have you ever felt that? That really strange contradiction. You spend ages looking for real connection, deep intimacy.
Mm-hmm.
Someone who gets you.
Mm-hmm.
But then, the second it actually happens, the moment it feels like, okay, this could actually work, bang, an alarm goes off inside.
Yeah, that panic button.
Exactly. It's this wave of anxiety almost. It feels physical sometimes, like you're claustrophobic, even sickened, and all you can think is, I need out now.
That internal escape hatch, right. It's classic emotional self-sabotage. And, attachment theory has a pretty specific name for this pattern, the avoidant style.
Avoidant, okay.
And that's what this deep dive is about. We're not trying to wave a magic wand and make it disappear overnight because, well, that's not realistic.
Right.
But the sources we're looking at, they offer something potentially more valuable. They give us a kind of map of that internal world and maybe, just maybe, a path toward becoming what we might call a recovering avoidant.
A map. I like that. So the mission today isn't about instant fixes. It's about insight. Because you can't really change something until you see it clearly, right?
Exactly. Insight is the first crucial step.
This is about understanding that pattern, being able to name it and maybe communicate it, turning it from this, hidden destructive force into something known, something manageable in your relationships.
Yeah.
So let's dive into what that looks like. What are the signs?
Okay, so picture this. The sources describe it really vividly. It's that person who suddenly feels this almost ungrateful cooling off.
Ungrateful cooling.
Yeah, like their partner gets more affectionate, more loving, and instead of feeling warmth or gratitude, they just feel uncomfortable, maybe even a bit repulsed.
Huh. And their mind just automatically starts finding flaws or thinking about other people.
Exactly. It's like a switch flips. Even if the partner is objectively wonderful, the avoidant brain starts looking for exits, thinking maybe someone else would be better, or this isn't quite right. It's all about creating distance.
And does that show up in practical ways too?
Oh, definitely. The research mentions things like needing to sleep alone right after being intimate, or suddenly needing to make separate plans for the weekend, needing that solo time to sort of reclaim their independence.
It sounds like an internal alarm system going off whenever someone gets too close, measuring closeness as danger almost.
That's a great way to put it. Closeness equals threat. But it's crucial to understand why. This isn't just random coldness or malice.
Okay, yeah. Where does it come from? Because these folks can be super competent in other areas, right?
Absolutely. And that's often the paradox. But the origins, according to the research, consistently point back to early life, specifically relationships with caregivers that, let's just say they didn't provide that consistent, reliable emotional safety net.
Ah, so it goes way back.
Way back. The implicit lesson learned, often unconsciously, was something like, love isn't reliable, or getting too close, needing someone, leads to pain or abandonment. Vulnerability felt dangerous.
So it's not really about the current partner disappointing them. It's more like a ghost from the past, triggering a survival mode.
Precisely. It's a deeply learned distrust. A suspicion about, the very possibility of a secure bond with anyone. And to cope, as a child, they developed a strategy, distance equals safety. Keep people at arm's length emotionally, and they can't hurt you.
Those walls aren't built out of spite, then. They're self-protection.
They're fortifications built out of fear, yeah. Learn self-preservation.
And that explains the heartbreak, right? Because, like you said, these are often people who are nailing it in other parts of life, careers, finances, whatever. They seem totally put together.
Highly functional.
But then love comes along, this messy, interdependent thing.
Right.
And the very skills that kept them safe as kids now keep them stuck. They might even believe they're just, fundamentally broken when it comes to relationships.
And recognizing that gap, the gap between general competence and relational intimacy, that's where we start to see a path forward. This leads us to a really key distinction the sources make.
Okay.
It's the difference between acting out your avoidance unconsciously versus acting with insight.
Acting out versus insight. What does that mean practically?
Acting out is when you just react. You feel the panic, the urge to flee, and you do it. Maybe you pick a fight, maybe you ghost someone, maybe you just withdraw emotionally, but you don't really understand why. It's driven by unconscious stuff.
Okay.
Insight, on the other hand, is when you still feel that urge, that internal alarm bell ringing, but you recognize it. You're aware of what's happening inside you, where it likely comes from, and crucially, you understand the potential damage if you just act on it impulsively.
Okay, I get the distinction. But does insight actually help the other person?
Yeah.
I mean, if you still feel the urge to pull away, even if you know why, doesn't it still hurt your partner? Couldn't insight just sound like a fancy excuse for bad behavior? Like, oh, sorry, that's just my avoidance acting up.
That is the absolute core challenge, you're right. And the answer, according to the sources, lies in shifting our whole idea of what relationship maturity looks like.
Hmm?
Insight alone isn't enough, you're right. It has to be paired with radical transparency.
Radical transparency.
Yes. Insight gives you the power, the advantage of being able to warn the people you care about. It lets you turn to your partner and say, essentially, look, I need you to know something about me. I'm not entirely well in this area. I carry this pattern, this internal wiring, and sometimes it's going to make me react in ways that might feel hurtful or confusing. I want to tell you about it before it happens, or as it's happening.
Ah, okay. So it's not about being perfect. It's about being honest about your imperfections.
Exactly. Forget finding a perfect partner. The goal maybe should be finding someone who has a decent handle on their own major glitches, the things that are most likely to impact the relationship, and who has the courage and kindness to give you the map.
Handing over the map.
Yeah. And doing it with, a bit of grace, maybe some humor, definitely an apology up front. That warning transforms the dynamic. It's no longer a hidden minefield. It's more like a known construction zone. You know where the potential hazards are.
That makes sense. It changes the question from, why are you doing this to me, to, okay, this is that thing we talked about, isn't it?
Precisely. It depersonalizes the reaction somewhat.
So how does this sound in practice, the language of recovery? What does that actually look like? The sources give examples, right?
They do, and the contrast is really stark. Let's take that classic scenario.
Yep.
Ruining a weekend together.
Okay.
The old way, the acting out way might be. Friday evening rolls around, plans are made, excitement is there, and then suddenly, maybe after one tiny disagreement or just feeling too close, the avoidant person shuts down. Mysteriously decides they need space, makes other plans, offers no real explanation, just withdrawal.
Leaving the partner feeling confused, rejected, probably angry.
Totally. Creates chaos and deep wounds. Now, the new way, the recovering avoidant way, is about preemptive honesty.
So maybe on Thursday night.
Exactly. On Thursday night, they might say something like, hey, I'm really looking forward to this weekend, but I need to be honest. Sometimes the thought of 48 hours straight of closeness, even though I want it, it triggers this awkward, anxious feeling in me. It's kind of outside my full control, this reaction.
Wow. That's vulnerable.
It is. But the sources stress there's a huge difference between acting erratically and sharing the temptation to act erratically ahead of time. You're sharing the process, not just the fallout.
Letting your partner see the struggle, not just the symptom.
Yes. And this leads to what the material calls the recovering avoidance speech. It's not a script, obviously, but it has key components.
What are they?
Well, first, it usually starts with an apology, not for who they are, but for the difficulty the pattern causes. Something like, I know this part of me is peculiar, and I'm sorry for how it impacts you.
Okay, acknowledging the impact.
Then explaining the mechanism simply. There's a part of me that gets scared by closeness. It tries to find fault or create distance, put up walls, because deep down, intimacy feels unfamiliar, maybe even frightening.
And making it clear, it's not about the partner.
Absolutely vital. The message needs to be crystal clear. This reaction isn't about you. It's not that I don't love you or value you. It's that needing someone, depending on someone, brings up these old fears from my past that I'm still working through.
That separation is key. It's not you, it's my pattern.
Right. And then comes the commitment piece. It has to include something like, I am actively trying to understand this, to manage it, to switch off that internal alarm when it's not needed. I'm committed to this work, to us.
Showing they're not just accepting it, but actively trying to change.
Exactly. And maybe the most mature part, offering the partner an out, gently.
An out.
Yeah. Saying something like, I really hope you can bear with me through this, but I would completely understand if you decided you couldn't be with someone who finds closeness this challenging, who has to work this hard at it.
Wow. That's real accountability. It puts the choice back with the partner based on full information instead of them just being blindsided by the behavior.
It's about informed consent in the relationship, essentially. And this isn't some rare niche issue we're talking about.
No. How common is it?
The sources suggest that roughly, maybe 25%, a quarter of the population carries significant avoidant traits.
A quarter? That's huge. That's a lot of people navigating this.
It is. Which means understanding this isn't just for people who identify as avoidant, but also for anyone dating or loving someone who might fit this pattern.
Okay, so if we accept that you can't just snap your fingers and erase decades of learned coping mechanism.
Right. It's not magic.
Then the most realistic and maybe the most ethical path forward is gaining that conscious awareness, knowing you have this damage, this pattern, and developing the skill to give others the map of your follies, as the sources put it.
Beautifully put, owning the map. And here's something fascinating. The act of doing that, of achieving that level of maturity and honesty, it can actually lessen the intensity of the avoidance itself.
Really? How?
Just being able to say it out loud, wow, I find love really hard, really frightening sometimes, seems to diffuse some of the hidden power, the shame and terror associated with it. Bringing it into the light makes it a little less monstrous.
That makes sense. Less internal pressure. And for the partner who's received the map,
For the partner who's been warned, the behavior, when it does happen, the sudden need for space, the slight cooling off it, doesn't necessarily feel good, but it becomes more understandable. It's less likely to be taken purely personally.
they can see it as, oh, there's the alarm system activating, rather than, what did I do wrong, or they don't love me anymore.
Exactly. It gives them context, and with that context, they can choose how to respond. Maybe offer support, maybe give space gracefully, or if the pattern is too disruptive for them long term, they can make a cleaner decision to step away, rather than getting caught in cycles of confusion and hurt.
So it's not about being either avoidant or cured. There's this third way.
Yes, that's the aspiration discussed,
Yeah.
this valuable third position, the recovering avoidant. This isn't someone who thinks they're perfectly sane or normal in relationships.
No illusion.
No illusions. But they are deeply committed day by day to learning how to manage their internal world, to slowly bear the intensity, the vulnerability, the sublime risks, and yes, the ecstasy that comes with real mutual love and interdependence.
It's an identity defined by the commitment to honesty and growth, not by the absence of struggle.
Precisely.
That feels like such a hopeful message for anyone listening who recognizes that push-pull inside themselves.
Mhm.
The power isn't necessarily in eliminating the pattern overnight, but in bringing awareness to it.
Yeah.
That light of awareness is what allows for honesty.
Insight enables communication.
And communication is really the only bridge we have across that internal distance, isn't it?
It truly is. And if we take that statistic seriously, that maybe a quarter of us carry this significant internal wall around intimacy, it really makes you think, doesn't it?
How so?
Well, it prompts a question for everyone, regardless of their attachment style. What hidden difficulty, what internal imperfection? Maybe it's not avoidance, maybe it's anxiety or deep insecurity or a tendency towards control. What pattern do you carry?
Uh-huh.
And how might mapping that pattern honestly and sharing that map with kindness and vulnerability with the people who matter most to you, how might that fundamentally change your own connections? What map do you need to create and share?
That's a powerful thought to leave people with. The journey isn't about reaching some imaginary state of flawlessness. Maybe it's about becoming a really good, really honest map maker for your own heart.
I think that's a beautiful way to see it.
Keep exploring those maps. Thanks for this deep dive. We'll see you on the next one.